Since the dawn of man, we've looked up at the stars and wondered. The night skies give cryptic answers, but still we ask and wonder. Curiosity has led us to many strange places. Sometimes we're rewarded by the curiosity, and sometimes we regret what we find lurking in the darkness. This is my journey, an attempt to bring lightness to dark places and understanding where there's been only mystery. Please join me as I traverse the night. Hey friends, welcome to the first episode of Nighttripper. This has been something that I've been wanting to do forever. I think about having conversations with friends and family about not the usual things that we talk about, but um, I used to. I don't really do it as much anymore, but I used to ask people, "What have you seen? What have you experienced?" And was always interested in what people said and what they experienced, what they've been through when it comes to things that aren't accepted or normal things. So this is kind of my um, journey or attempt to bring to light some of the things that make me curious, some of the things that um, are mysterious or different or strange. I want to talk about it. And I would love for you people out there to share. I don't want to talk alone. I would love to have people on the show that would share things, their experiences. And it's a wide net. I'm want to talk about everything. As you saw in the video that I made for the intro, there's a lot of different. It's a unique and interesting and weird world. What's out there is way crazier than what we could think up or what we could dream. And maybe that's it's connected or something, but I don't know. I just have always been interested in this stuff. I think I get it from my mom. She had a natural curiosity, I think, for things that were different. Maybe she was a witch. I don't know, but she I think she was into the metaphysical. It was something that interested her, and I think that me and my sister kind of got that curiosity from her. But also, I think we got the fear as well. There's things that we're naturally curious about, but it's good to have a healthy fear of some of those things. And we'll definitely talk about those in future episodes. Like how deep do you want to dig? Like how far do you want to go? How much do you want to know? Kind of thing. So um, a little bit about me. If you don't know, most of you probably that are watching do know. Um, I kind of grew up in a normal situation, I guess. Well, maybe it wasn't normal, but normal to me. What's normal to you is different to me. But I was raised mostly by my grandparents. My mom died when I was young, tragically. And that's something that I'll probably talk about in the future episodes. But I didn't really like I was interested in things, but I didn't really have any experience. And once my mom passed and I lived with my grandparents, um, it was like a different culture. It was a different time. I remember one time, and my sister probably remembers, my grandparents were um, probably in their 60s or 70s when we were young. So they weren't young grandparents. But I remember one night we were all sitting at the table. It was my grandma, my grandfather, we called him Gramps, and my uncle, who was closer to me and my sister's age. And my grandparents and uncle were talking about things that scared them or things that happened to them that they had no explanation for. And this was not a conversation that I was ready for. I was probably 12 or 13, and they were talking about, things walking on the roof, um, stuff they'd seen outside, just and I think me and my sister plugged our ears because we weren't prepared for what they were talking about. And now I wish that I would have listened, because what they said probably would be pretty interesting, because I think, it's generational. There was no internet, there was no Slender Man and stuff like that back then. So maybe what they experienced had different names or had different explanations, or maybe none. Um, but maybe it would make things that we saw or experienced now make more sense. I don't know. But I was not prepared. So and I never really got to ask my grandparents, like, what have you seen? I wish I could have now. It would have been a really interesting conversation to hear them talk about their life experiences growing up after the depression, and how real things were. But I think just most people, you know, as you go through the chapters of your life, you experience so much. And I think some people are receptive to things that are not readily explained, and some people just don't pay attention to it, like it's nonsense, or it was my imagination, you know. Um, and I think I've always been that type where I want to believe that it's something. I want to believe that there's elves. I want to believe, in gnomes or gremlins or whatever. I want to believe in the stuff that people would laugh at. But I think some of that stuff has a basis for, um, like there's maybe a kernel of truth in some of those things. I don't know. I do have stories, and that's what a lot of this is about, is me telling stories, other people sharing stories, experiences, my opinions on things in cultures in different places of the country or the world. um, I want to delve into those things, and I really would love feedback, and for people to share their stories. So if you're for being on the show with me as a co-host for the episode, I would love to hear your stories. I would say, what have you seen? Um, so when I was younger, I hadn't seen anything, and I'll go into my first experience probably in another episode. But I saw something or experienced something that made me realize that there's more out there than what we accept as reality. And that moment for me was kind of not what I thought it would be. It was not a pleasant thing. It wasn't an epiphany or anything that caused any kind of um, wonder, I would say. It didn't. Um, And so there was that, and it's like being curious, but also being wary, being cautious. And I think that's also something worth talking about. That if you are interested in things that are beyond the realm of what's accepted as reality, you have to be careful. I think because it's stuff that we don't know about. You know what I mean? It's stuff that's not accepted or understood or acknowledged even. So you've got to be wary about that stuff and know what you're getting into. And that's something that I think my mom kind of put into us, that fear of don't mess with that. My neighbor, who is a terrible human being, he wanted to do seances. He would play records backwards. Um, had brought over a Ouija board, and I remember I don't know if my sister was playing with it or not, but he brought it over, and we were messing with it. My mom happened to come home, and that was it. Like, she dropped the hammer. She's like, "You are not playing with that. You are not messing with that." And so that instilled in me a wariness, to be careful, to be um, about caution, to be cautious about those things. Because if my mom was worried or concerned about something, then I should definitely be worried or concerned as well. I think I was smart enough to realize that. So um, that's just a little bit of my childhood. Um, I've seen a lot of things and experienced a lot of things, and that has made me more curious, but not so curious that I'm going to, stay all night in a closed insane asylum. I'm not going to do something where I feel like my mental or my physical, person would be in jeopardy. If I start to feel that, which I have, um, I'm out. I'm not messing with that. It's not worth it. And I do have examples, and I really look forward to telling some of the stories that I have. Um, and it's almost therapeutic to get that stuff out there, because I know everyone, well, not everyone, because I've asked people, I'm like, have you seen anything? Have you experienced? Nope, never. And I'm like, really? For me, that's almost strange that you have not experienced anything at all. But maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the world I live in, I guess. I have always had a feeling of being able to feel energies, to be able to like I could drive by a house and I could tell you if it was haunted, and I would know. I've worked at many hospitals that were very haunted, and I've worked at many that aren't. I've lived in many houses. I've moved many times, um, and I know the difference. I could feel it. Um, and I don't know what that is. Is that being empathic? I'm not sure what you would call that. I'm not an expert in anything, um, but I can tell you what I feel. And I think my sister has some of that as well. But it's something I guess I just took for granted. I didn't assume that everyone had that feeling, but I think the one of the an example of that feeling that I get when I know I'm near something like uh, something otherworldly. It's like that feeling that you get when you're in your car and someone's looking at you, and you turn and you catch them looking at you, like that feeling. It's kind of like that. Um, it's kind of like someone that, and I don't know if this is for everyone, but it's if someone projects their feelings on you, say someone that you care about um, is very sad, then you feel that sadness. If someone is angry, it's like a strong emotion. Like sometimes places that are haunted, I feel like a strong emotion. Um, and I don't know what it is. I don't know why a spirit or ghost would have emotions. But I've read a theory once that someone said that a house can record emotions or events, or buildings, I guess, not just house structures, but could be buildings too, that they can record maybe events or strong emotions. And that could be, maybe that would explain like ghostly sightings. We've all heard about the stories about the girl that was murdered in a tavern in one of the rooms upstairs, and she's always walking down the hallway or something. Like maybe the tavern or that construct like recorded somehow um this woman's final feelings, and just replays it over and over and over again. I don't know. I've got theories, I've got ideas. Um, but and that's something that I definitely want to dig into, is ideas, thoughts, reasons why. Um, I don't know. I don't know. And I want to know, but I'm not dying to know. Um, I don't know. I think that some of the unknown is dark and dangerous and scary. And I think some of it is. I think some of it is just because it's unknown. We're afraid of things that we don't know about naturally. But I think there's reasons to be wary or afraid of some things. I think some things maybe we shouldn't um, mess with, I guess, would be what I would say about that. Um, so yeah, I think every episode I'll probably delve into different topics, different places that I've been, experiences that I've had there. Might show pictures, slides, or whatever, videos of different things that I've experienced, but also really want to hear other people's experiences. I think that would really make an interesting show. And I would love to talk to people that are maybe not as believing per se, you know? Um, I'm not trying to convince anyone. I don't want to argue, but it's interesting to have like a counterpoint as to why they don't think it's real. I think it's interesting um, to have that, for and against kind of conversation. So I do have a good friend, Carrie, who's my wife's best friend. She um, has been wanting to do a podcast like this, and she's been wanting to record one. So her enthusiasm kind of got me, got the ball rolling for me. Like, you know what, I'm doing it. I've been wanting to, so I'm going to start this, and I will have her on probably multiple times. She's a great talker, very smart person, but I don't think she's really experienced much, and so she has that kind of maybe skeptical thing. So we can talk about it. We can bring up different topics and subjects, and I would love to hear her rationale for what she thinks this might be or that might be. I think it would be an interesting show. Definitely would love feedback. I would love to hear what people think about the show, suggestions. If there's something that's annoying you, if there's something that you think is okay, ideas for shows, future shows, I would love that. I would love to hear my friend DC sent me. He lives in Tennessee, and he's been talking about the Appalachian Mountains forever. How there's all kinds of interesting stories there, like the Bell Witch and stuff like that. So I'm going to dig into that. He may not be on the show. I would like him to be, but um, he will definitely provide me with a lot of rich stories about that area. And I think that that is so interesting that every area, every region, every culture has their own stories, and they're unique. Some are unique, some aren't. You know, I've lived in California for most of my life, but then moved to the Midwest and then lived on the East Coast as well. And I've heard stories that are basically the same in the Midwest as the stories that I've heard in California. So, you know, some things are shared, some things travel, I guess. They're night trippers. Um, but anyways, I look forward to talking more. I look forward to sharing more, and I hope that you guys will be with me on this journey. This is kind of just an introductory episode, just to give you an idea of what it will consist of. Definitely much more informative. The next ones, I'm working on topics and things that I would like to delve into. Like I said, I really want it to be interactive. I would love to hear um, stories. I would love, reach out to me, send me messages, DMs, whatever. I can also give you my email if you have any stories that you have experienced. With your permission, I would read it, share it, or if you want to come on, you can tell it. Um, and I just think that that would make the show richer. I can talk all day long, but I would rather hear somebody else's voice than my own. So I'm inviting you to be part of this journey with me. Let's get some understanding. Let's bring uh, light to the darkness together. So thank you very much for sitting through this introductory episode. It's a work in progress, so please bear with me. Give me some grace on that. I'm learning. I do other podcasts for collectibles and things, so I'm not new to it, but this subject and sharing it with people is new, and so I'm kind of learning as I go. So thank you for your time, and I will catch you guys soon. I think the show will be bi-weekly, so it'll be pre-recorded, and we'll drop on a certain day every 2 weeks probably. So please like and subscribe. If you like the show, please share it with friends. Um, and if you're on the socials, share it via Facebook, or I don't have Instagram, but I will probably get one for this show. But yeah, we're talking everything. I want to talk about everything. Um, and I want to hear theories. I will shoot out theories. I will talk about this stuff all day because I think it's interesting. But I won't talk anymore. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And I will catch you on episode 2 of the Night Tripper. Thank you guys. Have a good one.